Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a classical Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust 36. This is reference 116200. 36 millimeters in Rolex 904L stainless steel. The watch is 11.8 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip. It measures 44.5 millimeters, and from end link to end link, the total distance across the wrist is 45.6 millimeters with a spacing of 20 millimeters between the lugs. Pop open the clasp, throw it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and get a sense of how it fits. Since 1945, the 40th anniversary of the Rolex company, the Datejust has been one of the standards in the catalog. An ageless design and size, it looks as handsome today as it did then. This model's a little bit sportier than a standard Datejust, as it has the Oyster bracelet, the domed bezel, loomed dial on a lacquer base, and of course the lovely roulette date. We'll talk about that in a moment. The watch is short across the wrist and quite comfortable. It fits well and would be suitable for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference. You can see in profile it fits easily underneath the cuff with a thin profile and a sloped bezel. Jumping back to the bracelet, I mentioned this one has the Oyster bracelet. The Jubilee was originally created for the Datejust back in 1945, as it was the 40th anniversary or Jubilee of the company. On the Oyster bracelet, this one cuts a more contemporary and sporting stance. Satin outer links, polished centers, polished outer face, and as you can see, removable links fixed by screws. We are well into the hollow center link, hollow end link era of Rolex bracelet construction. You can see that this one features a lift lock system, so there's actually a beak and a hook internally, and you can see that it latches, so it's not simply friction fit. You do need to unlatch to open it. It's finished internally. As you can see, there is polish within the clasp mechanism, and then an Easy Link 5mm adjustment system. There are actually 3 divots drilled inside the clasp. You can see 2 of them. It's set to the middle divot right now, and you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point of the bracelet inside the clasp, move it back and forth. The Easy Link is 5 millimeters. It's the equivalent of adding or removing one full-sized sizable link. So you have the divots, the Easy Link system, and then you have the removable links to size the watch. Handsome, graceful, curved, and tapered case, all of high polish. On the crown side, Rolex twin lock crown in steel. That little slash below the crown lets you know it is a steel twin lock. Screw down 100-meter water resistance. This one has a domed bezel. That's why this is the 116200 rather than the flat conical bezel. This one's got a little more curvature to it, giving it a bit of a vintage look, as though it were one of the original Rolex bubble backs, the Oyster Perpetuals with the automatic winding system. Now, this watch features a more contemporary dial, as it is a glossy white lacquer with white gold applique hour indices, fully loomed, white gold crown, white gold hands, all of that gold to resist oxidation and tarnish over time. Cyclops eye magnifier, and you can see that we have the odd numerals red and the even numerals black. That is what is called a roulette date in Rolex speak. You can also see that we have a quick set date and we have hacking or stop seconds. There's a railroad track outboard of the indices for reading the seconds and the minutes, and you can see there are tiny Roman numerals outboard of the indices themselves. Flip it all over, solid case back, Oyster case of course, Rolex manufactured caliber 3135. 31 jewels, bidirectional automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve, stop seconds, hacking seconds, shock resistant with a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. That also helps the watch to be adjusted quite precisely, as it is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. The overcoil hairspring is made by hand, it's shaped by hand, and that Breguet overcoil allows the watch to keep even time in any physical position with respect to gravity. The timepiece, of course, beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, a standard modern high beat rate. Rolex making its own cases, clasps, and bracelets. It owns its own foundry, and that 904L steel that Rolex uses is a high-grade, highly anti-corrosive stainless steel. You're probably not going to have any problems with standard 316. Rolex uses 904L because it's just that much better where corrosion is involved, and the watch need not be rinsed after saltwater exposure. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. Back in the dark with the Datejust 36 fully loomed.